Konami Studios.
Robin, issue number 2. It's been quite some time since the little boy wonder had his own title, and this time around it's Damian Wayne. And the first issue, really cool, really fun stuff, just a fascinating idea to take Damian out on his own, away from the Bat family, just going into like the dark depth of the DC universe and fighting in a killable tournament. That's pretty fun. That's a great concept for that character, and it makes a lot of sense, in my opinion, that Damian would be a part of that. I know some people are mixed on Damian Wayne as a character, and they always have been since his conception, but personally, for me, I've always had a soft spot for Damian just because he just reminds me of exactly what Bruce would be if Bruce didn't have, like, the trauma at a young age. If, like, he just got to... If Bruce became Batman the way Damian became Robin, I think they'd be the same person, which I kind of like. So, Damian reawakens after his wound, he heals up, and we get a little bit of some exposition in the form of a cool moment here with Ravager. So, Rose Wilson is here. Obviously, they have some history and some connections with each other because of the Titan stuff, which they don't really play up in here, but it makes sense. So, she's like, yeah, you kind of killed yourself before, like, we got the rules spoke to us, so I guess it's time you figure out what we're doing here. So basically, we learn the rules of the island and what the tournament is going to be. Everybody has 3 lives. When you're on the island, you don't die. And the fight really begins after everybody dies once. It's kind of just like a sparring match before that. So it's 3 strikes, you're out. Damian's already down 1. Flatline's been killing a bunch of other characters. And basically, it's just like, yeah, man, 3 strikes, you're out. Let's go crazy. Let's go have fun. Damian takes it as like, okay, so I don't have to hold back. So before he can finish talking to Ravager, he just goes ballistic on a couple of people and takes a bunch of them down. He's like, all right, let's continue this. And he comes back to Ravager. He locks eyes there with Flatline, the woman that killed him in the first issue. She winks at him. And I'm kind of curious to see how Flatline's going to do. Because she is... I'm trying to think of a good analogy for so far what this issue has presented me with the Flatline character. Old school Harley Quinn vibes, maybe. I think like a classic Harley Quinn, not modern Harley Quinn, where she's kind of grown up and matured out of the role. But just like that, the goth chick with like the bright energy and everything. That's kind of what Flatline's like right now. Like a Deadpool meets Harley Quinn type character. I'm trying to think of an independent. It doesn't matter. Let's move on. So Rose just says, okay, well, there's some people you need to look out for. A couple of newbies here that are kind of dangerous. Respawn, and she's kind of pissed off at Respawn because of how he's dressed, and it's very Deadpool looking, which they don't really imply that it's maybe it's supposed to be like Deadpool, but he's in this universe. It's kind of fun. I like that design. We got XXL, who's like a young kid with a bigger ego than Damian. He's getting hyped up by his people. Obviously, Flatline's another one that we've met there. She is Lord Deathman's sidekick. And Black Swan, who is just like a ballerina, an evil ballerina. John Wick, anyone? There you go. But they're not the real threats that Damian should be looking out for. It's Connor Hawke, because he's working with the League of Shadows at this point, and nobody really understands why. And we see like a scene where he's taking out this guy, and he kind of like feels regret for having to kill him, but the Shadow is just like standing back and shouting at him to do it. So it's like, okay. Interesting. I wonder if Connor Hawke and Damian are going to team up at some point and maybe become the good guys doing something there. So Damian gets his book back and his bag of stuff. He thought somebody would have taken it. And Rose is like, you're reading manga? Okay, very interesting there. And Damian's like, it's personal. It doesn't matter. And realize that Rose doesn't really want to take part in like the tournament. She's there for a different reason, and it looks like it might be Respawn. So whatever Respawn is doing here, it's probably connected to why Rose is here, because Respawn is clearly a ripoff of a Deathstroke, of a Deadpool, and Ravager herself is already a ripoff of a Deathstroke. So makes sense. And basically, Rose's like, look, I don't want to see you die. We can't have our friends, so I'll help you. I can train you to win this tournament. We can do it together. And he's like, I don't need it, man. Son of Batman. Bye. And he walks away. We cut to nighttime, and Damian's investigating the League of Shadows, trying to figure out what they're up to and what they're doing. He gets stalked by Flatline, and it's kind of like, ooh, how about we become frenemies instead of friends? And you're like, oh, okay. Whatever you're doing, okay. Flatline's an interesting character. She's really quirky, which I get it. I understand this is like the thing people like right now. I personally don't hate the character. So she's doing fine so far. Rock and roll, kid. Rock and roll. So Flatline follows Damian as he's following the League of Shadows. They find like this huge like Lazarus pit in like the depths of the catacombs somewhere, and he doesn't really understand why they're there or what it's for. But you see that, okay, maybe the head mistress of the tournament is a part of it, and she's figured out what everything is. And okay, we're setting up a lot of interesting stuff here, which I like. We're playing the long game for this story. We're setting up Connor Hawk's got some stuff going on here. We're setting up that Rose Wilson is here for some reason. Flatline's got her own thing going on. And now we have this giant Lazarus pit, which is kind of cool to see. So Damian leaves the like pit area where he was spying on Flatline's just watching him like, oh, that's cute. There's some weird chemistry between the two. I'm not going to say immediately that those two are going to like kiss or something, but maybe they will. Wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if that's what happens. Damian gets caught in a net, and we see that Rose kind of like kidnaps him. He's like, dude, you are so arrogant, and that is your downfall. You're so cocky. You think you can win this tournament so easy, but two people have got the drop on you so far, and you're not focused enough. I'm here to help you to win, to figure out the right thing to do. I'm going to teach you some stuff that you need in order to survive this. And one of the key lessons I'm going to teach you is something that Batman is completely incapable of teaching you. And that, of course, is to have fun a little. And we see a page where all of the contestants on the island are just hanging out, having fun, drinking beers, playing video games, playing some volleyball. And it's pretty fun. And that's where the book ends. And I'm like, okay, I'm all for this. Give me some just like weird, like assassin mystery bullshit, or everyone's friendly for a minute, then they're willing to kill each other. I like that. That's weird, and I like it. It's very Mortal Kombat, but that's not a bad thing. This is a very strong issue. Just another fantastic book. I love Joshua Williamson's taking the opportunity just to be like, yeah, I'm going to tell a Damian story that kind of just flips the switch on the character for a little bit. We're going to go to different areas with him. We're going to explore a different side of the DC universe, introduce a lot of new characters that could potentially spin off into their own story or mini story, whatever. It's very cool. It's very fun. The artwork is fantastic. It's very kind of chibi a little bit, the way some of the characters, like, cheeks are puffed out and their eyes are, like, just larger. It looks very cool and very fun. I really do enjoy how this presents itself, how it acts. It's a very, very fun book. I think if you're hesitant to, like, dive into this side of, like, the Bat family, there's a lot less going on in here than the current Batman stuff, so I think it's a little easier to get on board with than some of the other current, like, books that are on that shelf. So that's really cool to see. It's a very good book, and it's just really fun so far to see the mystery we are building up to of this island. So, Robin, issue number 2, I am going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.